9.3 and use your finger to eat all day long. All right. Yeah, welcome today. This is the first day of the week, and it's my pleasure, as usual. Yeah, as usual, like I said to Chief Darlington, it's my pleasure as usual to introduce to you Captain Blade Aliyu, Babangida. Babangida is one of your names, Cap.
Yes, indeed. My middle name.
It's your middle name.
Yes.
Well, it's good that people know, so they don't think it's your surname. And
no, it's not my surname. It's my.
Are you related to the man?
No comment.
That one.
You know I'm from Niger State, don't you?
I know you're from Niger. I said, are you related to him?
No comments. Let's move on.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Do you want to do 50-50 or call the audience?
No 50-50.
No 50-50.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Yes.
Okay, Captain Blade is a security expert. He's a retired army officer, and is an expert. And I have this bias for his analysis because it's the most thorough that I hear. Therefore, I do apologize. I keep bringing him all the time because I've brought in one or two security experts, and to be honest with you, I think so far, to the best of my knowledge, he's the one who knows best. Right, Cappy, we have less than an hour as it is now, and you and I, if you allow us, we'll be here till 6 p.m. People don't know that we relate even off air, and so the first issue is the first headline that I saw in the papers today,
Okay.
where the president said that, amongst other things, the most important thing, he said that insufficient funds and the COVID-19 had been responsible for their not too successful tenure so far in security matters, especially in the north. And I'd just like you to react to that, to tell us if your thinking is if the president's thinking is in sync with your own, or vice versa, as the case may be.
Let me not react. Let me respond.
Well, okay, yeah. Okay.
First and foremost, if you say COVID-19 and lack of funds, I could tell you that before COVID-19 set in, we had put in some 4 trillion or thereabouts to the northeast. To what results? On lack of resource. And then COVID-19, yes, the president said COVID-19 is no respecter of anyone. But insecurity, too, doesn't respect anyone. I mean, if you want to know that, it attacked a governor the other day, didn't it? And don't forget, COVID-19 set us back, for me, is an excuse. COVID-19 actually challenged us. The reason, again, as the president said, COVID-19 not they respect anybody. The insurgents, too, you think COVID-19 left them alone? And they still had the temerity to organize and attack a governor or whoever they attacked in that period. So let's leave this as... You see, we've become a nation of excuses, not results. And that is why I've always been singing. It's about results. You're either going to toe the line or you are not going to toe the line. And there is nothing bad in failing to toe the line. We've seen people in other climes who fail to toe the line. They just honorably resign, and the world respects them even more. But it takes a lot of low-grade mindedness for you to know you are not doing it. You sit there and throw up excuses to justify why you still have to continue to use our resources to do what you don't know how to do. It's that simple. The Northeast is not rocket science. It's about deliverables. And for each stage of the Northeastern campaign, there has to be a particular cocktail of skill sets, human and material, that will deliver. It can't be one person. So we don't turn service chiefs to shrines or oracles. Even shrines, we tell you the tree we made it from now. Is it no wood you carve to make a shrine?
Yeah.
So what exactly are we talking about?
Well, what you've virtually veered into the next to what I was thinking of. This persistent criticism about the president not wanting to change the service chiefs. For us civilians, or us bloody civilians, just to make you happy and make you laugh a bit. For us bloody civilians, The excuse might be these people don't know what they're talking about. You can have a service chief for 10 years, you can have a service chief for 15 years, as long as they're deliverables. And I've also
You're listening to Jimi Disu, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
I do apologize. The machines just took over. There was a kind of coup. The machines just took over, and I decided to surrender myself to them. So I do apologize. This is the last time you will have something like this. That happens when things are automated, though.
It's called artificial intelligence.
Yes, when the robot just took over and said, "I want to play the commercial," and but I appreciate that because that's commercial is the. Okay, so back to the issue of the service chiefs.
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying that from a military standpoint, for you to tell us why you think or why you think not that there is a need to change these service chiefs at this point in time.
You see, if you entered my colleagues, right from time, my colleagues say, Blade, you are a contrarian. Well, I don't think I'm a contrarian. I didn't make myself. This is how God made me. I like to see things conversely. And seeing them conversely helps me to see it in a more robust perspective. Now to the service chiefs. I've always explained it in a way the average man on the street will understand. We all love football, though I'm not a football fan. I don't know much about football. Now, for the viewer like me, when I watch football matches, I just see footballers. But the technical advisor doesn't see footballers. He sees a goalkeeper, he sees a striker, is it midfielder, they call them right winger, left winger, defender. And from what I see in football, I know some players that even if the goal post was empty, they won't score. But you know what? They can scatter any kind of defense and create opportunities for their colleagues to score. So the strikers do the finishing. Okay. Now, the same thing happens if you go and read military history. Right from ab initio, whether African military history even let's use Africa so they don't say everything we go into Europe. Even as far back as Shaka of South Africa, Shaka Zulu, as far back as Dingiswayo, as far back as Nduna Bazo, Nduna Lela, and all of them, as far as back as Bashorun Kurumi, Bashorun Gaha, Bashorun Ogunmola, as far back as Nagwamatsi of Zaria, they have behavioral traits that drove their successes at particular stages. When the Bashoruns decided to go on conquests, they knew the right blend of commanders to put in place. Bashorun Kurumi, for example, was a choleric. Bashorun Ogumola and Gaha were sanguines. They were cold-blooded. So basically, if you had to man a theater of war, depending on the stage of the operation and what is to be achieved, the Bashorun you need will differ. At the point Buhari came in 2015, much was in disarray.
Okay.
The present set of service chiefs are stabilizers.
Okay.
If you go to the psychologists, they will call them melancholics. Okay? There were people who will come, appeal to your conscience, empathize with you, bring you back, set your wounds, lick your injuries, bring you back ego-wise. A smaller version of the present army chief was the late Abu Ali. Abu Ali was that commander who could actually call his troops together and tell them why we just have to go and do this thing. Come with me, I'll lead you there. Now, when you have done the stabilization levels, you move into what we call consolidation. There was one wonderful consolidator who is no longer there. Who would have actually become a very good service option, a service chief option for consolidator, and that was Leo Irabo. When we stabilize,
where is he now?
I don't know. He could be.
Is he still with the military?
Probably. I'll have to.
Is he
follow
still
up.
In service, rather?
I'll have to follow up on him. He could be in service. He could be retired. I wouldn't know, so I don't take any position here. But I tell you, I was opportune to go to the Northeast, and I saw the things he was able to achieve. They were consolidators. People like Leo Irabo, people like Ezugu, General Ezugu. They were all consolidators. Beyond stabilization, you consolidate. Having consolidated, the next thing you need to do is to forge on to the next stage. And that is where you need the kind of general we call an assault pioneer. An assault pioneer is a choleric, he's a warmonger. If I'm to give you an example of an assault pioneer,
yes.
I'll give you Ariel, the bulldozer Sharon of Israel. He's a warmonger. If he falls sick any month, he doesn't fight. He's not entirely useless. He's not a troublemaker. He's just useful in certain ways. So you keep him and wave him or dangle him. So that's what we're talking about. The service chiefs, I'm sure, deep within their hearts, may even be tired. They want to go.
Well, statutorily, are they by law or by military tradition, has their time expired?
If you look at what we know and what is on ground,
yes,
they have.
They've been there for about 6 years.
Yes. It has, you see, if you look at the armed forces, there are two sides to this argument. Let's start with the popular side.
Okay.
The popular side says constitutionally the president appoints the service chiefs.
Okay.
I agree with that, absolutely. He has the prerogative. But don't forget, 200 million Nigerians also appoint the president constitutionally.
Wow.
So the people that gave Mr. President the prerogative he's exercising over the service chiefs come first. Not any other way. That's the popular side. Now let's go to the professional side, the military side. In the armed forces, we run pretty much in generations. And to understand it again, I will use a secondary school.
Okay.
Today we have JS1 up to SS3.
Yes.
So where you have a situation where SS3 doesn't graduate, you just lock them. It's called lock screen. If you use Microsoft Excel, you know what lock screen is. You just lock it there. It doesn't move. What you are telling anybody from SS2 down to JS1 is, if you like somersault on the job,
You won't get to accessory.
you won't. Just forget about this place. So that young officer who's put in 25, 30 years is a one-star general, is looking to a career. He has the potentials, he has the prospects, he's driven. You are telling him he's risking his life. You are telling him his wife is risking her marriage. She's risking becoming a widow. His children are risking their future with him being there. And whether he dies or survives, he won't get to that.
So can I
exalted
deduce
position.
that you probably think there could be some element of sabotage due to the way this situation is being handled, where you can't even move forward?
Let me give you a strategic intelligence and a strategic security perspective. Strategic security and strategic intelligence wise, that decision could be counterproductive.
Yes.
It disinspires the troops, and when it disinspires the troops, it is not unlikely that some of them begin to run or turn rogue. They will start doing things that will dilute the very successes they risked their life, they shed sweat and blood to attain.
Okay. One of the things I've noticed is you find, especially the pro-Buhari group, there's this group that's passionate about it, and say, well, they are the ones that the president feels comfortable about, or
It's
feels
not-
comfortable with.
I've always said we must grow out of these shenanigans. It's not about your comfort, Mr. President.
Yeah.
It's about results. If the president can make himself the service chief and give results, the people will not call for a change. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. Let's consider security a product. And let's consider our country people, the consumers, whose feedback is more relevant to you. Is it the consumers of the security, or is it the producer of security? That's just the simple of it. It's about results. If the results coming from the consumers of security is optimal, even if you had the worst persons there as service chiefs, they're okay. So it's up to now our service chiefs and the president to work on results. And it's very easy to track results. If we went and said, what are the dynamics, what are the figures, what are the numbers in the Northeast in July, comparative June? How many attacks? How many deaths? What's attrition rate? You understand what I'm saying? There are a lot of things I compute and permute. I play with them on my own database at my consoles, and you just see a trend.
There was a governor last week, the governor who was attacked,
Yes.
who said that he was attacked by the army and not by Boko Haram.
Yes.
What's your own sense of what could have taken place?
There are three possible dimensions to it, but
Yes.
even then, the challenge lies with our armed forces, and I'll tell you why. You see, whether there was sabotage or not, I will tell you that anywhere, even in Jesus Christ 12, there was a saboteur.
Yeah.
So, Your Excellency the Governor, sabotage happens. Sabotage, when it happens, is an indictment of the institution that is there, which means either they are counterintelligence or their intelligence is not optimal. But then there is no law on the planet which says the same way they sabotage us, we cannot also sabotage them.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So who do we hold responsible for that?
The institution in charge.
That's the military.
The military.
But the military claimed it was Boko Haram, right?
Of course, it is easy to claim it was Boko Haram, and if you claim it was Boko Haram, then accept that they outwitted you. The Boko Haram can decide to dress like soldiers, and they do. Oh, they do. So basically, the things that happen in the Northeast are actually those things that write the scripts of your story. And the way it is going, I tell you, the substance, the reckoning of the armed forces is diluted. It's diluted. So at a strategic security level, if you were to aggregate, let's use football again. when you play matches, they call it tournament or something like that. There is this table they draw for football. You see minus, plus, goal aggregates, goals scored, and what have you. And that informs where you are on the table. Depending on the matches you win and the matches you lose, you could even end up in Division 1 or Division 3 or something like that, isn't it? If you actually beat Uncle Jimi's team.
Why my team? Let them beat
It's an example.
I use your name.
Okay, if you beat my team, okay, if you beat my team and my team was at a higher level, then a team from a lower level comes and beats you, what happens to your rating? So basically, if you were to rate our armed forces, if you go to places like Jane's Defense, if you go to places like Sipri Damina, and you look for the table on armed forces and the rating based on occurrences, you find out that our rating has been diluted. And the people that are diluting this rating are village boys.
Okay, I don't want this machine to embarrass me again. It's the competition between me and the machine that is for today before we sort it out. So we're going to take a short break, commercial break. Okay. When we do come back, we'll be taking calls 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993, and the Twitter handle is at Nigeria Info. At Nigeria, not Nigerian, at Nigeria Info FM. That's the Twitter handle. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. Daily Digest returns in a moment.
You're listening to Jimi Disu, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yeah, you're welcome back to Daily Digest with Jimi Disu, brought to you by MTN. And I have Captain Blade Aliyu, Babangida. I have him with me here today. All of you know Captain Blade. Now, if you want to call in, the number to call is 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993. I have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. Who's calling?
Yeah, Patrick is coming from Okota.
Yes, sir. Please go on.
Hello?
Please go on, sir.
Yeah, I want to appreciate the analysis your guest has given on the studio.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say, of what impact would this effect on the field? That is where the action is taking place. I don't know if we can have a serving general who is still in the army, because I know he's retired already, and I know I've enjoyed everything he has discussed this morning with you.
Yes.
Because what he's telling us now is from the background. The people who are still on the field, will they still say what he is saying? And why is it that we can't get results from the front?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard him.
Yes, sir. I understand your position. But you see, when you elect to serve this country, you do so on oath.
Okay.
You do so on oath. The nature of the military profession is not entirely what you think out here. It's not really a democratic situation. We are very much regimented, and regimentation comes across as craziness to the average civilian. But trust me, to protect 200 million people, you need to be crazy in a way or the other. It's
To
not
put your life on the line.
Yes, it's
So
really
when you then have, well, it has to be crazy because there
Yes.
was a, it's not even an officer. You call them ratings, right?
Okay, other ranks. If you
Other
like.
ranks, okay, other ranks who made a video, went viral,
Good.
laid complaints against the chief of army staff and his
Good.
seniors, and asked to be arrested, and of course now he's been arrested.
Let me tell you something. I read a book written by General Colin Powell of the U.S. Army a long while ago. And General Colin Powell said it in his book that the day your men stop coming to you with their problems is the day you stop leading them.
Wow.
Okay? When a soldier who has so many officers ahead of him
Yes.
chooses not to take his complaints to any of them, but rather goes public with it and even damns the odds, then you know that there is a disconnect in leadership.
So are you saying remember we have a case of another one who shot his
The one who
Yes,
shot his superior is not the first. Remember the soldiers who opened fire on General Minor also
Yes.
in the northeast. These are all indicators.
But did things like this happen in the past? Not that I heard
They
of.
did, but were properly managed.
So what would lead soldiers to turn against their senior officers?
The day your men turn their guns against you is the day you stopped leading them.
And then what
So,
happens?
What happens is simple. The soldiers are found wanting for doing that, and the officer is also found wanting for doing that. Let me put it to you easily. If you were an elder in a gathering of elders, and the little maiden girl who came to serve water or refreshments calls you by your middle name, it means your gray hairs have been compromised in some dark places.
Just say something like, Jimi, could you please move
Say,
aside?
say no, if a young maiden girl, an 18-year-old comes in and looks at a 70-year-old man and say, Jimmy bros, how far? Which ones you still?
Well, as you don't add bros, that one don't hedge. Well, if just say Jimi outright.
Exactly.
Even if you add bros.
So you know that for that to happen, some kind of compromise,
Yeah, it has taken place.
yes, has taken
But
place.
where is this? I'm scared about things like this.
Yes.
Anybody who is a student of history and has followed the military, African military especially,
Yes.
will know that these are danger signs. I'm going to ask you a very, very blunt question.
So expect a blunt answer.
Is there? Yes, I'm ready for it. I'm holding on to my chair.
All right.
Is there any slim chance at all that we could get some kind of insurrection from the military as presently constituted? The thought of it frightens me. And I am forced to ask this question because this is a question that I've been asked over and over. We sit back and think and say and hope and pray that we would never have a military intervention. And I do pray that it never happened because I don't think it will solve the problem. But when you begin to see these signals, I'm sure, well, I'm a bloody civilian, so I don't understand it anymore. I mean, when you have other ranks saying, come and arrest me, that tells me, because something tells me that he might not be alone.
Of course. In fact, the godly one is the one who came out and even said it so that you know he's there.
I see.
The badass one who will just keep quiet and watch. But you don't know what is in him.
So do we think that we have what I would call a unified military and unified command?
The command is seemingly unified, but there are cracks in the wall.
And you believe that keeping these service chiefs for so long could be part of the reason?
It's at the crux of the matter. Let me tell you why. I'll tell you why. First, I don't see an insurrection coming in our military.
I'm thankful for that.
I don't see that coming because, for one, if you have a coup in mind, go throw it in a trash can. It can't work. Next, insurrection as in the army imploding.
Yes.
It won't implode. You know why?
Why?
Their wives and children are in the only battleground where they could implode in the barracks.
I see.
So it becomes a basket of eggs all of them must carry with care. Now, what I see happening is strategic security-wise, the aggregate rating of the armed forces is being diluted, home and abroad. When our enemies see these things happening, the insurgents inclusive, they actually glean off it as indicators of what? Cracks in the wall. Our ranks are buckling. And that is when they raise the tempo of their activity to rob and leverage. You see, in security parlance, we say a chain can only be as strong as its weakest link. And the enemy will exploit that weakest link. And that is where my commander-in-chief, Mr. President, comes in. That position you are taking is creating the kind of responses that give the world a diluted, a compromised reckoning of your armed forces. If you have the prerogative to appoint your service chiefs, then those who gave you the prerogative to have that prerogative, you cannot but listen to them. So basically, what is happening today within the armed forces, as the other caller said, you're not going to hear any of the generals or any people coming forward to say the way I'm saying, this is our position. But from the actions and results on the field, you can glean off, the handwriting on the wall. And that is why I've always said it should be about results.
This is a tricky question.
Yes.
Very tricky one.
Yes.
I just feel compelled to ask. It's from a person called Desi Jones Esquire.
Okay.
And he said, please, I want to know if Captain Blade is in support of what the young last corporal did.
No, I
Okay.
am not. But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Again, in as much as you are not in support of what that little Lance Corporal did, there will always be two sides to a story.
Yes.
So let's not just say, okay, what he did was wrong, case closed. What prompted him to do that? And why did it have to get to that level? If a Lance Corporal did that, he had a corporal, a sergeant, a staff sergeant, a warrant officer, master warrant officer, army warrant officer, second lieutenant, lieutenant. I can go on to general as his superiors. Not one of them was an option for him to complain to.
He went public.
He went public. Now, don't forget, we are all humans and we were born by mothers who suckled us. So everybody sucked breast, so we all get sense. What will make him do that? Let's go into that. You see, we must interrogate our blunders, or else we will never come out with a rounded solution. And people don't like to interrogate blunders.
Archbishop Roberts says that security is not just worrisome, but very disheartening. The bloodshed is too much. Captain Blade will help from... Captain Blade, where will help come from, if not for us to keep praying?
I don't believe, let me first of all say, I don't believe in prayer.
Yeah.
Because even God told me that he helps those who help themselves.
Themselves.
So I go and help myself first before I pray. That does not mean I don't pray. But I don't believe in God will help us. So don't tell me God will help you when I'm going to battle. Give me bullets. Don't tell me God will help me. If that is the case, let pastors and imams go and fight.
What is it like? What's your mindset? You've been to war. You fought a war before.
Go ahead. Any question you have, bring it. Yes.
Yeah. What? How are you psyched up knowing that as you're going out there, a bullet could just rip through you? Is it that you have some kurube that, whether you get something when they give you for village,
there
where you
is
put for
no
pocket?
kurube. Let me
There's no
tell
kurube
you
this
what happens. If you've ever been to a military training depot,
Okay.
that's where it happens. It's called, we call it training. Some people could call it, psychologists could call it conditioning, mind control, programming. Some people call it brainwashing, whatever you want to call it. It's actually within that nursery that it happens, where your mind is made. Your mind
So when
is
you're going to
built.
war, you believe that you will not be hit by bullets, and you are the one who's going to mow down the enemy. Is
It's
that how it
not
works?
about believing you're not going to die. First and foremost, to be a soldier, you must have accepted that whether you are a soldier or not, nobody is going to leave this world alive. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So whether you join the army or you don't join the army, when it's time to go, you're going to pack up and go.
Then do you also have to believe in predestination, that you will only go when it's your time to go?
In fact, you are even told that somewhere in some factory, if you have to go on the battlefield, your name is already written on the bullet that will take you out.
Wow.
And if you are not going to go on the battlefield, you will go through all the battlefields on the planet, then come back home and die in your sleep.
What's it like to see people, one moment you're advancing and chatting, next moment the guy is down, shot and everything?
Yeah, what's it like? I have some classmates that are no longer with us.
Yes.
1 minute they're here, the next minute you
They're
hear
gone.
die, he's gone. But then, as I told you, the conditioning when you train prepares you for that day.
If these are the things that happened, okay, and as we're talking now, I have chills, I'm feeling chills. Do you think the president is insensitive to this issue?
I use
what-
one word.
Yes.
He's aloof.
Why would that be? He's a former general. He should know.
He only knows. But I know that someday in the future, I look to see, it's my heart's song. It's my heart's song that we should begin to consider a culture of bringing our past leaders out. Call them out to come and explain certain things. You see,
After they've gone.
yes, if you have immunity while you are in office, that's okay. I respect your immunity. One of them annulled democracy and he lived happily ever after. Democracy's been on for 20 years and nobody has set up anything to say, you know what, just come and
Oh,
tell
that's
us
the
why.
one from your village.
Yes, from my state
Who
indeed.
you share the same name with.
No comments again.
I wanted to throw you under the bus.
Yes, no
I have
comments.
I have a caller. I wanted to throw you under the bus. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning. Who's calling?
Yeah, my name is Annie, calling from Ikorodu.
Yes, please go on, sir.
Yeah, I've been trying to get to your program. I didn't know your two stations. I'm particular about Captain Blade. Captain Blade, I want to ask, is there by any chance you have a school that teaches intelligence? Because you are so intelligent, you are so oriented on this security profiling. I really don't know if you have like an academy or something of such. If you don't, I would encourage you to have it so that people like us can roll out. Because I'm much impressed. Anytime I hear you're coming to the studio, in fact, I'm much more happy. It makes my day. Uncle Jimmy, nice job.
Thank
Captain
you.
Blade, nice job.
So do we,
Thank you, sir.
rather than ask, I'd rather say that, do we have intelligence institutions?
Oh,
Maybe not necessarily owned by government, though.
No, you see, the profession itself, the intelligence profession, it can be private and it could be public.
Okay.
There are companies that have formidable intelligence machineries. In more matured climes, there are some of the most effective intelligence machineries I know
Yes.
are in political parties.
Really?
Wow, you really underestimate the power of the Democrats or the Republicans until you know what their intelligence machinery, strategic intelligence and security machinery is.
Kapil, you didn't say APC or
Leave
PDP,
that
yes.
matter, Uncle Jimmy.
I just said I should ask.
Don't
now,
come there. If not,
okay, no vex, no vex.
Democrats and
Don't,
they will
vex,
become
no vex.
annoyed.
I just,
I said, don't go there. So for the client, for the person who is asking,
yes.
I am looking at putting together a mentorship, a clan
Okay.
where I can breed minds. To be an intelligence officer or an intelligence practitioner is not for anybody. If you are not ready to read until you go bald, sorry. if you are not ready to think without boxes, not inside box or outside box thinking, you're going to do no box thinking. If you're not ready to be open-minded, then you will not survive on the playground of the intelligence operator. Because deception, subterfuge, sabotage, subversion, they are tools in our trade.
So would I say that you'd be slightly dehumanized?
You're not going to be dehumanized per se, but you are going to become what we call a higher mind.
You reckon?
Yes, you're going to see human beings as creatures of habit and social in
and
nature.
tools to be manipulated.
They can be manipulated, but then the manipulation itself is a function of positive or negative manipulation.
That's the one you said that makes me laugh.
Yes.
Is disinformation. I think the politicians are all part.
Beautiful.
I usually get people telling me that, I got this from a very reliable source. And the vice president I went to school with, I went to primary school with him, I went to university with him, I know him as a pastor. He's as clean as a whistle. If he passes information to me, I will run it. I will run it. And what I mean by run it is to say I will cross-check it 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
But
because people don't know or people don't appreciate that what a word or information can do,
exactly,
500 tanks cannot do it.
Exactly.
You understand? And that's why I tell people, don't send me any nonsense WhatsApp unless you're sure of where it's coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing like, I'm a privileged person. I see Nigerians like to boast about that. Do you know who I am? This one is from a reliable source. This one is from the inner. All na lie. Deception is the name of the game. If you don't know it out there, you better just know it now. Okay, it says forwarded as received.
Nothing is as it seems.
Nothing is as it seems.
Exactly. Because
even if you send me something,
yes, exactly.
At the look
let me tell you something. The level of intelligence.
Sorry.
The level of intelligence I've been able to, my curiosity has driven me to.
Yes.
Uncle Jimmy, I can program you.
Enough.
Beautiful. That is it. You see, there is something we call there is something we call cymatics. Sound. Okay.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning. I was just about to have an argument. He says he can program
we can.
He doesn't know what I have in my left pocket.
We know. Let's see.
Do you know?
Sorry. Let me.
Uncle Jimmy,
let's take
you don't know Captain Blade. He can do it.
He cannot.
Do it.
Do you know what I have in my left pocket?
Take it to the central bank. Captain Blade can do it. Uncle Jimmy?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I've been following Captain Blade since 2014.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Uncle Jimmy, I want to tell you. Yeah. Let's say, for example, now, as we are speaking, we made Captain Blade to head the security guys fighting this bunch of animals. Because I see he speaks with confidence. These are leaders. These are people who are supposed to be in the war. He retired so early. I asked him the other time I speak with him, how come you retired so early? Captain Blade.
Yes, I'll answer you.
How come you retired so early, my brother?
Okay, thank you. I can answer for him. To be honest with you, what I know about Nigerian institutions generally across the board, they're always afraid of intelligent people. Be it government, politics, media, name it. There's always this fear of intelligent people that you don't know what their next move will be and you can't read them. And Nigerians generally, rather than study and find a way around something, they just live in fear of it. Is that what happened to you in the military?
Well, let me say I joined 50 years before my time to underscore.
50 years?
Yes, to underscore what you said. And based on that, something I was saying, you see, Uncle Jimmy, in the intelligence community, what we do is we just leverage. We don't really take sides. If I know, for example, that you like your daughter, then if I wanted something and I wanted you to concur, I will go through your daughter. So I'll get you to do what I want.
I give the name and telephone number of who you can.
You don't even need to. All I need to do is to place a visual perimeter around you.
Yes.
For 30 days. Then you see that your phone.
Yes.
I'll get somebody who knows it, and that your phone will record even your breath and will be listening in on it, even whether you're making a call or not.
That's a dangerous one.
That's a dangerous one, but that is where
you don't want to hear some of the phone calls that I made later.
No, understand something. The intelligence community.
I know.
You know, we used to say something that this stomach, you see,
Yes.
this stomach is not for food alone. You see, among we intelligence operators, will tell you this belly is not for food alone. Okay.
And the people who put the thing in my left pocket, have you heard of Lukudi?
Ulukudi, all many, I know all these things you are talking about, but let me tell you, what the intelligence operator does is simply gather a cesspool of a lot of information and use them as...
I'm getting something here. I'm
Yes.
getting various streets here. Everybody is asking, what exactly are these Boko Haram people about? I mean, what exactly is it about?
When I look at the Boko Haram debacle,
Yes.
I see them as somebody's tool. Somebody's tool, and based on the trend or the situation, they harp onto whatever is relevant and claim that as their essential, what do we call it now? Raison d'etre. Once upon a time, it was education, then they jumped to religion, then they jumped to they want a caliphate.
Are they a rebel group? I mean, we know the things that they always state. Fair enough. But what exactly,
For me, Uncle Jimi, for me, if I were to have been opportuned 11 years ago, this problem would have ended.
How?
It's simple. When you enter somebody to the extent that you study him, okay? When you have finished studying him, you profiled him, you will see his Achilles heel, you see the chink in the armor. Let me tell you what I would have done 11 years ago. When Shekau was still very choleric and angry doing the things he was doing,
Yes.
I would have replicated a second Shekau. I would have put a second Shekau out there, and that one will claim every single victory he claims.
He claims.
And I know, given his very choleric sense and nature, he will come after my own, and I'll be waiting.
You draw him out.
I'll draw him out. That happens to Abu Nidal and Carlos de Jaca. That's what the CIA did to those guys way back. Way back when I was a schoolboy, I read it in books. We'll pull him out. We'll get him what you call an alter ego.
But how do you then rate intelligence institutions and military, whatever?
I don't.
Is there anything? Do you think there's anything wrong with this thinking process?
Uncle Jimmy, the nature of our operations as soldiers, we take cue from the body language of the Oga himself.
Yeah.
If there was one Abacha sitting there, what happened in Liberia would have happened in the Northeast, because you don't even see his eyes, so you can't even look at them and know what he's thinking. So you had better be straight. General Abacha always had those dark tinted glasses on.
So what you're thinking is that the leadership has been weak.
Our leadership, our president is aloof. And that's what everybody is exploiting. Look at what happened in the NDDC.
Yeah.
If one man they call Tunde Idiagbon was alive, will you try it? Looking at that man's eyes alone, will you try it? That's what I'm saying. When I say he's aloof, all respect, with all due respect, I'm not, no puns intended. That's just the word.
So do you think that during his tenure, maybe the credit for the successes of that time should have gone to his subordinates?
Let me just put it to you. It was the face of Buhari and the voice of Idiagbon. All that English about credit, just hang it somewhere. It was the face of Buhari way back. I was a schoolboy then. I was in secondary school. And it was the voice of Idiagbon. And why I say so, the proof has been here with us since 2015 that indeed was the case. Even if you go to Katsina State today, or Daura, wherever, they will tell you the same thing. So the ambience, the body language, you see, the countenance of the leader is what the downlines take their cue from.
Yeah.
That's all. And you can see that from 2015 to date, the reckoning, both politically, militarily, of the Nigerian state has been so diluted. We are not taken seriously anymore. That is the strategic security implication. Somebody had the F-13 to rent a bulldozer one night and go and pull our embassy down.
Yeah. What do you think we should have done in that case?
The thing is, those who are even handling it don't even know what to do, because first and foremost, that is an act of aggression. Secondly, since our ambassador doesn't have a home to stay in, you've pulled his home down, we call him home and probably send yours back. Then we head to the International Court of Justice to open our case with you. But somebody said we are not going to resort to street. You see, the problem we have is the hallmark of people who don't know what they are doing is they tend to beg the situation. They tend to beg the
and
problem.
wish it away.
Beautiful. They tend to go cap in hand, even where they shouldn't even go with caps at all.
So, Cappy, in 2 minutes, where do we go from here now?
Where we go from here is what I've always said, and I'll repeat again today. We have a country to run. So let's start getting serious about being serious. It's about one word: results.
Okay.
Results.
Okay.
That's all.
As usual, you'll be back.
Definitely, God willing.
You'll be back.
God willing.
God preserve our lives. You'll be back.
Okay.
I've been speaking with Captain Blade, Aliyu Babangida. I just like calling him Captain Blade anyway.
It's Captain Blade, actually.
Blade,
you
yes,
are right.
Yes, I just call him Captain Blade.
Captain Blade.
And we've had a discussion. Sorry about that small disruption. It was the machine that they were planning a coup, knowing that there's a military man. Oh, were you the one who planned this thing? Did you want to stop talking? Maybe you were the one who programmed it. Next time we'll frisk you very well.
No comment.
We'll frisk you very well. Thank you very much for listening.
You're welcome.
We'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, Daily Digest is every day minus Monday. Monday is the day that I sleep, wake, and sleep again. So from Tuesday to Friday, there'll be Daily Digest at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow is midweek, Wednesday. We use it to break all the Turenchi we've been speaking, from the weekend discourse and so on and so forth. So tomorrow we are going to do our usual Dear Bome. And I have an architect coming in, Adiola Bankole. She's not going to talk about buildings or anything. We're going to do that Dear Bome together. We're going to do that tomorrow. Of course, Dear Bome is an Agoniant who writes for the Vanguard, and we tend to review her page. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Collins, thanks a million for being here with us. Philip, as usual, you're here. God bless you. And Kapi, thanks. We'll call. But I don't know which one of us should go out first. I think you should go out. Wait for me downstairs.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. Because if you go out now, you'll be working on my left, and that's where my left pocket is.
Okay.
Okay, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Bye.